So our first speaker is Lieutenant Colonel Athula Lankadeva, who joined the Sri Lankan Army in 1980 and has received a number of awards for valor on the battlefield. And I think the most prestigious of which is the Uttama Seva Padakama for meritorious service to His Excellency the President. He's graduated from the Defense Services Command and Staff College in Mirpur, Bangladesh, and he also obtained his Master of Science in Security and Strategic Studies from KDU. He is currently the General Manager for Administration and Procurement at Mobitel, which I understand is one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, mobile telecommunication company in Sri Lanka. So here to emphasize the need for an increased border security through securitization, let us all welcome Lieutenant Colonel Athula Lankadeva.
Honorable Chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In the next 10 minutes or so, I'll be talking about securitization of national borders with a new idea on levels of securitization. The border depicts the sovereign territory. Border control is defined as measures taken by a state to regulate and monitor borders. National border is vital for the survival of the state, and protecting it is important for national security. In order to survive, the border should be controlled and protected through properly structured and empowered border security agencies. Now, this is the concept for border security, which I have taken from the US Homeland Security and Defense Center. There are three co-functions in border security, namely deterrence, interdiction, and exploiting of network intelligence. Deterrence is due to the perception of the strong border security operations. A percentile of smugglers may deter to attempt crossing. I have depicted that on your left-hand side box. And then the balance flow may attempt to cross the border, taking a risk which will increase the price of drugs or drugs. Yes. At the border, a percentile of the attempted flow will get interdicted. The balance will get into the country as illegal flow. Exploiting network intelligence is contributing to and using shared intelligence and information across organizational boundaries. Securitization means an issue is presented as an existential threat to a referent object and application of extraordinary measures to securitize those objects against perceived threats. All the countries in the world have securitized their national borders using various methods. However, still the countries face transnational organized crimes at various levels. It is a puzzle how TOC occurs in states where the national borders are securitized. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the objective of my research or this paper research was to find whether there is any other factor affecting effective security of national border. For this, Sri Lankan border security was taken as a sample to identify the security effort or lack of it, to understand the puzzle. In order to assess the effectiveness of the border security of Sri Lanka, narcotic smuggling was studied. In that, quantitative method was used to collect data on incidents of detection and number of arrests and court cases related to illicit drugs. Further, the author interviewed top management of border security agencies to understand the reasons for border violations. At Indian Ocean Region Senior Enforcement Officers meeting, which was held in Sri Lanka in October 2015, the Sri Lankan Navy Commander, Vice Admiral Ravindra Wijegunratna said that Sri Lankan authorities apprehend only 10% of drugs coming into Sri Lanka. Further, he said that the total heroin smuggled to Sri Lanka is estimated to be around 3.5 metric tons for a year, considerably in excess of the requirement of approximately 50,000 drug-dependent persons in Sri Lanka who use 900 kilograms of heroin a year, and the balance, that is approximately 2.6 metric tons, are resmuggled back to Europe and Australia. Admiral further said that the Indian fishing boats poaching in Sri Lankan waters are involved in transferring narcotics to Sri Lankan fishermen at the islands close to international maritime borderline. According to the report of International Narcotics Control Board for 2014, Sri Lanka has now become a transit point for drugs coming mostly from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India, headed to Europe. Main trafficking routes are by sea from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karachi. Now, this is according to the Narcotics Control Board annual report. Pushpita Das, an Indian author, stated that according to Indian intelligence, Karaikal, Mandappan, Vedaranayam, Pudupattinam, Vilutanwadi, Velangani, Point Kalima, and Nagapattinam of Tamil Nadu coast in southeast India are being used to drug smuggling to Sri Lanka. The discussion will be under co-functions of border security. Interdiction. Availability of heroin at street level indicates failed efforts of interdiction. It is observed that the quantity of narcotics seized in Sri Lanka since 2013 has increased in many folds. The percentile of drugs seized at the border has increased from 10% in 2010 to 38% in 2014 out of the total quantity detected. If the quantity of narcotics which was not detected inside the country has increased, then the 38% will get further decrease. However, it could be safely assumed that 60% to 80% managed to cross the border undetected. This situation implies Sri Lankan border security measures are not effective. Sri Lanka has a coastline of 1,340 kilometers, which was discussed in the earlier session also. Narcotics smuggled from India enter the border between Negombo to Mullaitivu, that stretch, whilst narcotics from Afghanistan smuggled by Pakistanis, Iranians, and Maldivians cross Sri Lankan border from south and between the stretch between Negombo and Puttalam. Further, according to Lanka Business Online, Colombo Port is a container hub, and 75.4% of total container handling in Colombo Port is transshipping. Therefore, it could be safely assumed that transshipping is used to smuggle in and resmuggle narcotics out of Sri Lanka to European destination. High-tech scanners are required to monitor approximately 10,000 containers per day. It is difficult for the Navy or the Coast Guard to secure a territorial sea around Sri Lanka. Therefore, the best method is to adopt a strategy to get all stakeholders involved to secure the coastal belt, to improve the awareness of the maritime domain, which should be monitored by a control room. Gentlemen, now this is an extension of what we discussed in the previous session by Vice Admiral Kolambage and Lieutenant Commander Kulatunga. Now, MDA could be achieved by establishing marine police. There are 83 coastal police stations around Sri Lanka. So we can establish marine police in these police stations and mobilizing fishermen and coastal residents to provide vital information on suspicious activities, in addition to input from coastal radars and Department of Fisheries through VTMS. In Sri Lanka, deterrence could be measured through the number of convicted prisoners for drugs-related offences. The percentile of narcotics-related convicted prisoners for each year from the total number of convicted prisoners are maintained within the range of 33% to 43%. However, 45% to 56% from the number of narcotic-related court cases are acquitted each year due to various reasons. So we can well imagine where our deterrence is. Exploiting network intelligence. Now, there are 4 departments at our ports of entry, namely Sri Lankan Customs, Department of Immigration and Immigration, Airport and Aviation Services, and Police Narcotics Bureau, under 4 ministries responsible for border security at the ports of entry. Now, this structure undermines economy of effort and affect intelligence and resource sharing. The new idea, the level of securitization. Now, Sri Lanka government has securitized the border to secure national security and sovereignty. But Sri Lanka's national border is being violated on a daily basis. I suggest that the reason for continuous border violation could be the low level of securitization of the border. When the level of securitization is increased, the threat level reduces. Now, securitization level of the border is directly related to operational capabilities of border security agencies, adequate budgets, or enacting of new laws to assist the agencies to perform their constitutional obligations effectively. Now, let's see what operational capabilities. That will depend on flexible organizational structure, efficient processes, adequate resources, use of new technology, and networking of intelligence in which MDA is vital. Accordingly, I am suggesting existence of 3 levels of securitizations. And here I have displayed corresponding threat level categorized into high, medium, and low. Low level of securitization will result in high threat level, which will increase with time. We saw that for last 30 years. By having a few agencies with a manageable budget, the government will maintain the threat level. However, by deploying several highly operational capable agencies with sufficient budgets and resources with strong legal provisions to support, the threat level can be reduced in a short time. With that, I come to the end of my presentation. And these are the important books which I have referred in my research. That is National Strategy and Homeland Security USA and Barry Busan's New Framework for Analysis and People, States and Fear, and Pushpita Das, The Indian Experience of Coastal Security. I also acknowledge contribution from Rear Admiral Samantha Vimalatunga, Director General Coast Guard, Mr. Chulananda Pereira, DG Customs and former DG Immigration and Immigration, Mr. Kamal Silva, Senior Superintendent of Police, Director Police Narcotics Bureau, and Mrs. Bhadrani Senanayaka, Director Research, National Dangerous Drug Control Board. That's all. Thank you very much.